In this video, I'm going to show you how to build an easy finance tracker that allows you to track all your income, all your expenses, see how much money you spend each month in every category, as well as how much you profit each month. And in the by category view, you can even adjust the simple filter to select a date range that fits your needs. So in this video, first I will build the database, then I will build the dashboard, and then I will give you a quick demo. For those who don't know me, my name is Leo and I'm verified by Notion with all of their 3 badges and the admin certificate. And here is the simple finance tracker build. By the way, if you want to follow along with this build, there is a link in the video description down below where you can get this exact page and start building along as I'm doing it. In this chapter, I want to build the core database with you. Now, first, let me show you what the finished version looks like on the left side. So as you can see in the income view, we have 2 entries for 2 different clients. We have the amounts, we have the date when we got the money, and then we have the category. By the way, I color every income category in green and every expense category in red. Here you can also add additional information if you want. Same here for expenses. Let's say I have thumbnails, then a course to get new information, and a subscription I need. And here we have the amount. Important is, because we will later filter, we put in front of expenses a minus. In front of income, we don't need that because it is automatically a plus. So here everything same, but expenses. Then we get the categories. And here we have all the different options from the select property, and here aggregated how much it is that is displayed in this group. And as I said here, you can adjust this simple filter. I set it for March. You can also go in here, change this to April 1st till April 30th. And then you can go in here and see how much you earned or spent by category. The last view is the month view, and here you can see it's grouped by the month. The newest one will always show first. Then we have all the categories again, and here we have an aggregation of all the income for this month minus all the expenses, so you get your profit. So that's it for the finished version. Let's move over and actually build it ourselves. So go into Start and click on Finance Tracker. Then make this in full width and write /database full page. We want to call this income/expenses, and let's give it this money icon here, currency. Now, as you already saw, we need 4 properties. The first one that we need is we need a number property. And here we want to call this amount, and we want to edit it. And here you can choose from your currency if it is listed here. In my case, it's euro. And then I would definitely recommend to automatically set this to 2 decimals. So you get, for example, 14.99 euros, because at least from what I know, there is no currency with more than 2 decimal places. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we have amount. Then what we need is we also need the date when this happened. We need the, we need the select property. We call this category. And we need a text property called notes. So now we have our first entry. Let me just add sample data. So up to this point, I just wrote in client, the amount and the date. Now let's create an option for category. Just write consulting, then click on this to create it, and then go hover over this. Then you can see this 3-dot menu, and here you can change the color to green. For every category you want to add, you repeat this. You just write in what you want and then create it. There is no limit. Now let's also do it for an expense. And I also added it here, and let's say subscription. We add this, click on the 3 dots, and we choose red. So now we have an example for an income and an expense. So that we have the properties, what we need now is we need database views. First, we need a table view. The table view allows you to easily fill out properties. So what we want to do is we want to click in this add a new view plus here. Then we want to select table, call this income all, click on the icon here and select this currency icon. Now here everything looks great. We want to see all the properties, so this is also okay. And now it gets interesting. For filter, we want to, let's first add an advanced filter here. We want to go for the amount. And what categorizes an income is that the amount is bigger than 0. So what we do is we say the amount in here should be bigger than 0. And if we set this and say for everyone, you can see that I made a mistake, which is that I didn't add the minus in front of it, minus 14.99. And if I add this, you can see it disappears because we filtered by amount is bigger than 0 and minus 14.99 is smaller than 0. Last but not least, for this, what we want to do is we want to sort by the date, and we want to sort descending. That means that the newest date will always show up on the top and the oldest at the bottom. Then that we have an income all view, what we also need is an expense all view. And what you can just simply do is you can right click, you can say click on duplicate view, then remove the one, call this expenses all, and just manipulate the filter to is smaller than 0, and then we only get the expenses. The third view, the categories view that we now need, is also a table view. So let's create it, click on the plus, click on table, and call this categories. Also select our currency icon and click on done. Now for the properties, this is also fine. And for the filter, I can set this up so that you can change it. We want to filter by date and then say this month, save for everyone. And now I can expand this, and it's a simple filter, so you can easily go in here. Let me change this to is between, and then we can start on the 1st of March and select the 31st of March. So now we have the complete March. We can say for everyone, and if you want a different month, you can then say 1st of April and 30th of April, or whatever month you are in or what you want to display. So I will leave this here so I can see this is a simple filter I did change and I'm supposed to change, and this is an advanced filter I'm not supposed to change. The next two things that we need is also here. We want to sort by the date and then select descending, and we want to group by category, and here I want to show also this, so I don't want to hide empty group, move it to the top, and then we can close it just to make sure that there is no silo for things that don't have a option selected here. And now we have by group. If you want to only display the green ones at the top and the red ones at the bottom, you have to do it manually. There is no option that goes by the color of an option. But what we can do for grouping is we can create an aggregation. Go to the 3 dots next to any option, then click on show aggregation. And then what we want is we want to sum and then by the amount. So we can see for consulting, it's 5K. For subscription is minus 14.99. And this will sum up, say, let's say, for example, I add another 30 down here, we'll say minus 44.99, which is very convenient. And that's almost it. Last but not least, we need a fourth view, our last view, which is our month view. And for the month view, we need a board view. Now, the board view is the only view that allows you to group and subgroup. So let's create it and show you what that means. Click on plus and select board. Call this months and select the currency icon. Then we want to show icon, wrap all content. This is also fine. Then card preview none is also fine. Card size medium is also good. So we can click on done. Properties, we want to make all the properties visible. For the filter, we actually don't want to set a filter because we want to see every item and it's grouped by every month. So we want to see all the data, but group by and also subgroup by. Before we go to the groupings, we want to add a sort again, and it's by date descending. Save for everyone, and now let's get to the grouping. Here it already set it to select, because in a board view, Notion will automatically, if there is a select, multi-select, or preferred, even before that a status property, it will set it to this property, but we want to group by the date, and here not relative, we want to group by month, and we want to show the newest first, and here we can pin the group when there is no date selected, so we can see that there are no at the moment. But if there would ever be an item with no date, it will show up here as a 1, and that's it. So we see it by the month, which is March 2026. And if we would have, for example, February 2026, it would show up here. And let's click out this. And before you go to subgrouping, change the aggregation. What we want is we want to sum, and here the amount. So we get our profit, which is 5,000 minus 14.99 is 4K 985 euros and 1 cent. So that's it for grouping. Let's add our subgroup, and here we want to select the category select. Here once again, show no category, and move this up, and we can toggle it, and you can then see we have all our entries for each option under the option in a toggle, and can hide it and expand. Same here, and we get the profit from all the items summed up. Before we move on to chapter number 2, we need to do 2 things. The first thing that we want to do is we want to create a database template. So click on plus new template here, and then can leave it as empty. You can add the currency icon, and now you could, for example, pre-select options. Let's say, for example, you always capture finances on the day that they happen. Then you can do something like today, and then if I create a new entry with this template, the date will automatically be set to today. So the date when you create a new entry with this template. If you say, for example, you look at your bank balance and then mirror everything to Notion, then you would probably not use it and log it yourself. So let's leave this how it is. So we just get the icon every time, and we can, because we only have one template, set this to default for all the views. And if I would now, for example, add a new entry, it will automatically get this icon. Now, downside here, because we set this to be bigger than 0 to match this filter, because we forced the item by creating it here to show up here, Notion will automatically set it to €1 to make it display here and match filter, because we create it here and force it to be displayed here. Then what you need to do is you need to change it to the real amount. Last but not least, what you want to do is everything in the views is sorted. Now, it is very simple here, but if you would, for example, build anything on top of it and you have a stack of different properties, this will come in handy. So let me set the foundation for you. Click on customize layout. Then what I want to do is I want to leave it simple. I want to make the inline comments minimal. I want to turn these page discussions off. Property icons is fine. And I want to make this full width, so I have more space. And now what we can do is we can click on the 3 dots here to move the property group over here. You can also leave it in this example here. If you only have these 4 properties, it doesn't matter. But if you have more, I would always move it to the side. And then what we can do is we can, because we have 4 properties and we can pin 4 properties here, pin every property. So the amount, the date, the category. But now for the sake of it, because it would be too easy, let me actually show you how to create an own group for notes. And you just do it by clicking on the property group. Then here on the right, on this gray area, click on notes and add to the layout. So we get a separate section for notes. And now this looks great. And we can click on apply to all pages. And this is now our new layout with all the pinned properties. And in notes, I can write anything I want and it won't get cut off. Also, by the way, if you don't want to miss videos like this, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But now that's it for this chapter. Let's move on to the next chapter. In this chapter, I want to build the dashboard with you. So now let's click on Finance Tracker to get back here and press enter as often as possible so the database disappears at the bottom. Then go in here, write /H3 to get a H3 heading, and let's call this income/expenses. Then on a Mac, press Command Shift and the left arrow key to select everything. Then press Command U, Command B, Command E. And now there is no real shortcut for selecting a specific color. We want to make this blue, and this already looks great. Now we need the callout, so write /callout to create it, and the missing piece now are the views. Now, quick reminder, if you, for example, just follow along because you found it interesting, and now that we are almost done, you think that this is a very good template, there is a link down below in which you can get this exact material, which includes the finished version, which you then have finished in your workspace. But now let's add all the 3 views. Just write /linked view of data source, then select our database. And now let's select our income all view first, then click on the 3 dots because we already have a title that looks a bit better. Click on hide title. And then we want to add another view. So click on plus, and then it doesn't matter because we pre-prepared the views. Select the suggested database income and expenses, then our expenses all view. And now we want to do this for every view that we have left, categories, and last but not least, we have months. So these are all our 4 views that we previously created. And now that's it for this chapter. Let's move on to the next chapter. So in this chapter, I want to give you a quick demo. I already gave you a bit in the first chapter where I created sample data. Now let me also show you how to create more templates. Let's say you don't want to only have one, then you would set the first one as default, which means that if we add a new entry, you can choose between the templates. Let's say, for example, you create a new template and you want the date to be today for expenses that you log today, and we can say new expense today, for example, and call this just new expense. Let me quickly give this also the currency icon. So now for this, we can select either just new expense and we won't get a date or category, or new expense today and we get the date. And in this case, always set the empty page to default. And for new entries, if there is a category, just select it down here and maybe add a note if you want. Or for new categories, just add it and create. If it is similar to the first one, I want to give you a quick tip, because if it just is, for example, console, it doesn't make sense. It's just as an example. And if I would now create, and if I would now press enter, it will select consulting, not create. Let me show you. It would select consulting. So what I need to do is I need to either use my arrow key to move down or my mouse, and then I can create it. This is something I want to show you in here. And now let's quickly also change the filter. So you can go in here, and in this case, you need to select the end date first if you want to have a date that is more in the future, because otherwise we would have a negative range, which doesn't make sense. For example, the end date is February 1st and the start date is March 1st. That doesn't make sense. So select the end date first, then go to April 30th. And for the start date, select April 1st. And now we have April. And because we don't have entries for April, it won't show up. And you can also make this a temporary filter. So here we have April and it is not logged if we say save for everyone or save as a new view, it would be permanent. But now I can just simply say reset, and it is March again without me changing the filter again. Last but not least for this chapter, let me show you that the items actually show up here. Let me create a new entry, call this tester, go to month, and you can see there is one with no date. It is tester, and then I can go in here, see tester needs a date, and select it. There you have it, a very simple finance tracker. If you also want to build a sales CRM in Notion, watch this video over here.